Hello, quasi-random farmers. It's me again. We've got another video. This video is going to be about the above-ground planters. We're just going to review how well things have progressed and talk about a little bout of adversity. So first off, this has been a rough year. We had a random cold snap in April that killed a lot of the stuff we were trying to plant. Past having the cold snap in April, we've had some really bad thunder and windstorms that have really beat up the plants, and it's kind of unavoidable. It just sort of is what it is. But we're going to start at the front and go from there. So in this trough, as you can see, it's just grass and no actual vegetables. Same with this one up here, just no grass. This unfortunately turned into Little Miss Doodle's favorite corner, which you're ironically getting ready to witness here in a second. Okay, so she didn't come down this way, but this is Miss Doodle's favorite corner, and she doodles quite an exceptional amount, running back and forth, and that killed any shot at growing anything over here, which is a little sad. But other than that, we had a single squash plant make it, at least so far. Probably not going to make it too terribly much longer. The wind has absolutely devastated it, and this was the one that survived the cold snap. Internally, you'll notice white, that is diatomaceous earth to help prevent squash bugs. If I find any eggs or anything, we just incinerate it, and here comes the dude. You're doing so good. Anyways, so we had one single squash plant make it. There was originally two. That was a little sad. We had some snap peas. That was pretty exciting. They yielded out, and I've already planted the second wave, which is sprouting here, as you can see. We had really good results. Got a lot of harvest from those. I was very pleased. So here, this is one of the multi-setup boxes where we have 3-foot squares, 3x3 on the ends, and then we have a 2x4 in the center. Now, originally there was 2 sets of salad cucumbers. Both of them died. Tried to replant after the cold snap in April. Tried to replant. Only one of them sprouted, and it is really struggling. And I hate it for it, but it's probably not doing too well. Probably not going to make it. But we tried. So in theory, the cucumbers would have grown up this roughly 7.5 foot tall trellis system, which is on these supports with, a couple of brackets and hinges. But again, cold snap, they died. It is what it is. That would have provided supplementary shade to our tomatoes in box number 1 and tomatoes in box number 2. But again, didn't work out that way. The tomatoes, however, have not blistered and died, which was fantastic. As we progress along, we've got a 2x10 trough. This one's for potatoes. So now, right now, I have some spare russet potatoes that were starting to age out. I just threw them in here. We were originally doing Yukon Golds. All those were harvested, and they were fantastic. They actually did really well in such a trough with a really good yield. Depleted a lot of the soil, though. We replenish it with rabbit manure because we're recycling and we're using everything to the fullest. So in this middle trough, since I, unfortunately, prior to its completion, ran out of wire, that wire was bought after, instead of doing more snap peas, since they wouldn't have anywhere to actually grow up, we just did green beans. Kind of, we have what we have. It is what it is. Really good yield. Very pleased with that. Would have preferred some more snap peas, but that's okay. And then this third trough, which has less completion than that one, we don't have soil or the wire done yet. That was going to be a third wave of snap peas, but again, just didn't work out that way. Let's move along. And because it has been blistering hot, as you can see how sad and wilted these leaves are, we've got a slow drip going with the hose there to try to save and salvage everything we possibly can. This weather has been bananas. But this is another 10-footer with 3-foot boxes on the end. Pardon me. And a 4x2 section in the center with cucumbers growing up and into the side of the fence as well. That was not the intention, but it happened that way. And this again would have provided supplementary shade based off the position of the sun to each respective segment of plants, at least part of the day, so they wouldn't have burned out. We did hot peppers in these, and we still lost some. Again, weird cold snaps and weathers, crazy, crazy wind. This has been a brutal year. But we're trying. We still have a couple that have made it. A couple more peppers over here in this square. Now, this 2x10 trough, which is up next. Yay! This one was originally radishes. Those have all been harvested out, and now we've transitioned to green beans, which unfortunately have been pulverized by the wind. Some of them actually ended up snapping altogether. It's just been rough. But hopefully they'll at least survive a little bit, and you can see too the burnout on the leaves. The heat has just been awful, absolutely awful. We're going to establish 2 more 3x3 boxes right here in front of this planter. Well, they'll be ready for next year. We're not going to worry about trying to complete that this year. One single pepper plant survived in this next 10-footer that's got 2 of the 3x3 boxes with a 4x2 in the center. Only one survived out of what was potentially going to be 8 pepper plants, which is sad, from the crazy cold snap and then turning around and it's 100 degrees and the wind is 4,000 miles an hour. This pepper plant, quite frankly, I can't remember what variety it is, but it is starting to yield, and that's exciting. Well, here we had another cucumber. One of them died, one made it. This was a salad cucumber, and as it grew up the 7.5 foot tall trellis, the idea is that it would provide supplementary shade because it does get really, really hot here in the summer, and the sun is absolutely brutal. So that could at least prevent premature death of these, the one single pepper plant that hasn't already died. Now, as we move on, we've got 2 3x3 boxes with, here we do pickling cucumbers that we plant in the corners. So that's 1 in each respective corner, 4 for a box, which comes to 8 pickling cucumber plants. Unfortunately, we only had 6 that made it, and of the 6 that made it, 1 of them is just not lasting too well. It's kind of grown up in the middle. We got really discouraged from the just bizarre insanity of the weather this year. But hopefully at least the 4 or 5 remaining ones will continue to yield some good quality pickling cucumbers. Because we love pickles and we love cucumbers. Good stuff. But this was a really good system. So this one is literally just a PVC pipe going up to the center with 3 foot of hog wire, 3 foot width of hog wire going from one end to the other end. And so the cucumbers just grow up and meet in the middle. And it's great. It's fantastic yield. A lot of the cucumbers tend to hang downwards, just as our little friend here, which makes them a little easier. Let's get that leaf out of the way. Makes them a little easier to spot. Good results. But that's an update on the backyard gardening. And I highly recommend above ground planters. I have a video on it on the homestead ideas. I know there's some people that are very much so against wood planters. I think they're fantastic. I like the aesthetic look, and the stuff just grows well. If we wouldn't have had bad weather, we would have had exceptional yield for everything. The squash plant alone, we've had squash every meal, me and the wife, for a good month. It's to the point that it's getting disgusting, and we only had a single squash plant survive. The yield has just been that extreme, moving our little waterer. But that's our update for today from the quasi-random farm. Great, great results with our veggies and our goodness. And next year it'll be even more expansive and even more fantastical. And I'm going to attempt to come to a solution to keep little Miss Doodle out of this corner. I don't know what I'm going to do. If anybody has any suggestions to restrict the doodle while still giving her quality of life, please let me know, because we need to restrict that doodle. But that's it from the Quasi Random Farm. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. We really, really appreciate everybody's support, and I hope everybody has a good harvest this year. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.